Hi, welcome to Bloom Botanical's herb farm. It's hardly a farm really, it's more like a little hobby farm or a little bit of a homestead. It's not huge by any means, but I thought I'd give you a little tour. It is May 18th. This is the front of our property here, and tell you what's going on right now. So this is the front view of our property here. We've got a little pond here, a little frog pond for the kids. We've got the greenhouse, which has seen cleaner, more organized days. Again, it is early spring. It's a big mess in there. Actually, behind that, I want to show you our watering system. So there's this giant barrel. It normally sits on top of this structure over here. And then we have this black pipe that runs from a local creek up behind us and fills that up so we get to water our garden from the creek. We are in a little village, so we are on mandatory town water, which is chlorinated, so I don't want to use that if I can avoid it. So here we have the vegetable garden. This is normally all calendula, but I think I might move that this year. I don't know what I'm planting there yet. We have our garlic coming up. Some garlic that didn't get harvested last year is regrowing. I'm going to plant some peas here. We have some sweet woodruff growing down here. Here is a little herb patch. It's got a whole variety of things growing in it, which I'll go into more detail in another video. But all kinds of stuff in there. Everything's really kind of overgrown and weedy right now. These are 3 trellises we built a few years ago. On this first one, there's chocolate vine that's going to be growing. The second one, the second one is chocolate vine. I think the first one is kiwi, a cold hardy kiwi, and then hops growing on this third one. And down here we have a bunch of berry trees. Now, I have not enjoyed tarping. I don't like covering the ground in cloth, especially this fabric cloth. But the weeds got out of control last year, and I didn't have enough farm help last year, so it kind of got out of control. I tarped it a little bit a few weeks ago. Obviously the grass is just still growing underneath. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do about it yet, but we'll see. Yeah, this grass is it's unbelievable. And again, I've tarped this area. This is normally our potato bed. It's crazy. This stuff is not easy work. I do need to get a better tarping system. I know there are much better tarping systems around. Here we have another perennial herb bed, although this weed here is taking over, so I've got to dig out a lot. But we still have a lot of really beautiful stuff growing in here. It's just starting to pop up now. And here's the view from here. You can see the house, fire pit, and then there's property behind us too. We've got some land back there. But this is the sunniest spot, so that's why we plant our vegetables here. And then in the front here, this was all grass when we moved in, by the way. This whole property was really just grass. So we planted these fruit trees. There is an apple tree, a cherry tree, and a pear tree. We planted those in 2014 or 2015, and I'm hoping that this year they finally bear fruit. Got a little cold hardy peach over here. And then this year I actually have mowed in a new path. So I just did this a couple days ago. I mowed in this path around the orchard. And what I'm going to do, even though I'm not, again, a fan of tilling, I am going to till parts of the grass around the edge of the path. And that way I can have all kinds of herbs growing all around the edge. And this inner circle. So this inner circle will be a little bit more aggressive stuff that I don't want to let loose necessarily anywhere else, because it will be mowed. Its edge will all be mowed, so it should be fine. And then there's some hawthorn, some wild black raspberry, another pear tree. But yeah, so that is that. So that is my bumpy handheld video. I'm just showing you around the property a little bit, just this front section. But this is where most of the action takes place. I also do a lot of foraging, and that takes place on my property, but also out in the local forest area and around. There's a river very close by. So yeah, that's it. I have so much work to do. Today I have to figure out that water barrel situation. Water's not coming out of the pipe right now, so I think where we've put it in, it's gotten muddy, which tends to happen in the spring. So I've got to get someone, well, I don't like doing it, so I'm going to see if Dave will do it, dig out that creek a little bit where the pipe is and get that water flowing back there, because I need to plant some stuff. And then today I'm going to plant some of the cold hardy stuff. We were gone for a week, so kind of missed that window. Now you can plant like vegetables really early, certain vegetables, but I don't tend to enjoy doing that. I feel like they don't have a great germination rate that way for me. And they do better for me when I plant them like mid to the end of May. So today's the 18th. If I can get that water situation figured out and I can get one of the beds cleaned up a little bit, I'm going to start planting some peas and carrots and beets, and that'll be a good little start to the garden. So I forgot to mention that yesterday or day before yesterday, I picked up a big order from the local conservation authority. They sell a whole bunch of fruit trees and all kinds of other trees and bushes and stuff. So I have a big bag, that clear bag there, and I have several potted trees, and I need to get them in the ground like now. So weather is really finicky right now. We're having a few frosts, but these trees have been hardened off already, and I need to get them in the ground before those roots dry out, because they are bare root. So you get them like in a bag like that. There's a little bit of dirt at the bottom, but pretty much those roots are completely bare and they're just sitting on a little bit of dirt. So the sooner I get them in the ground, the better chance they have at surviving. So here on this hill at the edge of this big hill that runs from our house over there, I've planted a cherry, two cherries actually. And then we have this path here that goes to the backyard where our woofers stay in a little bunkie. And here I have planted a pear tree, so that's kind of nice. And as we go through the garden here, this is our big water barrel. I was going to put up a better system there with pillars and some concrete, but I didn't get around to it, so I just kind of, I rebuilt this, although it's probably not going to last the season, but it'll do for now. And then this pipe here, this black pipe, it goes to a creek, so we get some creek water. It's just not running, it's not flowing very well yet, so I'm going to get that going. I've done a little bit of weeding, and I've changed that netting. It was just string I'd run back and forth. This year I got some proper netting. Back there I've planted, I don't even remember what, let's go see. A Honeycrisp apple, so that's great. I have these little coconut fiber mats at the bottom. I use that where trees are being planted kind of in the midst of big grassy areas. So here's that path I mowed through the front orchard, and I've planted a couple more trees along its sides. So we have the Flemish pear there. Here is an apricot I planted several years ago actually. Let's look at it. Debbie's Gold apricot from Whiffle Tree Farm. And then I planted the black cherry over here. So I think that's going to be really nice. It's circling this pathway. I really like the idea of this pathway being kind of circled by fruit trees. I think that's kind of a nice way to do it. And I'm getting a tiller next week. So I'm gonna till up a bunch of this grass here and start planting in a whole bunch of herbs, because my herb garden is pretty small actually for what I do. And I just need more space. And I don't wanna expand that herb garden too much, but we've got all this front space here and it doesn't need to be meticulous. These herbs can grow kind of in and amongst the grasses. So it's not bad for me to just kind of till up some of the grass and start planting in kind of like a meadow, like a herb garden meadow. So I think that will be great. Okay, so today I'm going to be planting some sweet peas, which I think are actually in my pocket. It's a little late to the season, but it's fine to get started now, really. Because why not?
He'll probably be able to tonight. As long as it's okay for as we do not tonight.
That's probably fine. So the greenhouse is starting to fill up right now too. I went out and purchased a bunch of plants from a few different places around here, including Side Road Farm, which sells their own vegetable seedlings along with lacewings plants. And she does like native medicinals and pollinators. And then as well as my Richter's order came in. So Richter's is in Goodwood, Ontario. They are the first herb place I ever went to get dried herbs, but they also sell plants. And so for things that are difficult to germinate, or if I've just run out of room in the house to start germinating things from seed, I'll order those plants from Richter's. And if you order in the spring, like first actually kind of in the winter, you can order plug packs. So for instance, this thing is still attached, but this is Moroccan mint. Again, I could have actually started this from seed, no problem, but It's a bit of a hassle when your house is full of seedlings already. So I got this as a plug pack from them. And then they also have whole trays, like so plug trays. So this is, what is this, 3, 6, 9, 12 cells, and then a tray is like 90 or 92 cells. I also got from them uva ursi. I got a few of those, some marl root, black cohosh, rose root, some more meadow sweet. I have a little bit, but not a lot. Some other hyssops, another thing of angelica. I have angelica started, and it's just starting to thrive this year actually, but I had already ordered this before I realized that my angelica was going to do really well. And then from Side Road Farm, I also got patty pan squash and some basils. And then from Lacewing, I have some lupins, blue vervain, some fireweed. I don't remember what one of them is. And, oh, and then I also picked up from Side Road, I picked up the shishito pepper, which is like this Japanese pepper that's sweet. And I think the occasional one is really spicy. But yeah, so it's starting to fill up. And then also my friend Ben, just down the road here, he has Fiddlehead Nurseries. I'm probably going to buy a bunch of plants from him too. So it's nice, right? When you want to start a bunch of stuff from seed, it saves you money for sure. But there's also a lot of time and space commitment that comes with that. And so I also like to buy plants from other people, right? I don't have to buy a whole seed packet, and I don't have to do the cold stratification that a lot of these herbs require. So yeah, it's nice. So the greenhouse is starting to fill up. I'm hardening off some of the things I started inside the house. So they're gonna harden off for another couple days, and then I'm gonna move them out to the greenhouse and keep the doors open. And then things will be planted in a couple of weeks, which is very exciting. Okay, well, thanks so much for joining me on this video, but a little introduction to the property here and what we're doing this spring. So thank you. Have a good day.